Just hit a button, Morty. Give me a beat.
Oh man, okay, alright,
How good are Manchester United's new signings FACUNDO, Pellistri and DIALLO Traore? For cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to www.jerseyfifa.com where they have the new season's jerseys available from just $25, and they have retro jerseys as well. A link will be left in the description, and if you use the coupon code ATLANTISFOOTBALL, you'll get 5% off. So on deadline day, Manchester United made a total of 4 signings. Alex Telles arrived from Porto for around £15 million. Edinson Cavani was signed as a free agent on a 2-year contract, but United also signed 2 rather unknown prospects. The first was DIALLO Traore, an 18-year-old Ivorian winger from Atalanta in Italy for an initial fee of around £20 million, which could rise to as much as £37 million. The other was FACUNDO Pellistri, an 18-year-old Uruguayan winger from Terrace for a lesser fee of around £8 million. In this video, I will be first analysing Traore and Pellistri individually, looking at them stylistically, comparing them to other players and discussing where they could fit into United's team in the coming seasons. I will also be looking at what United should do with them. Should they put them straight into the first team when they arrive, or send them out on loan, and if the latter, what style of play and league would suit their development. At the end, I will be giving my verdict on why United really signed these 2 unknown talents and whether they will be successes at Old Trafford, whilst also discussing Manchester United's problematic use of their young talents later on in the video, so make sure you stick around for that. But before I get into the player analysis, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell, as I will be releasing tactical analysis videos of the upcoming Premier League games and a video discussing all the problems at Manchester United, and I may even do a video looking at how the United Stan became Manchester United's biggest fan channel on YouTube. So let's start off with FACUNDO Pellistri. Pellistri is 18 and has made a total of 37 appearances in senior football for Penarol in Uruguay. At the moment, Pellistri is best used on the right flank as a natural winger. This is because he is a fantastic dribbler, able to receive the ball in the middle third and use his close ball control combined with his rapid acceleration to motor past players and drive the ball up the pitch. He does have the industry and work rate needed to play in a high pressing system, but does lack the end product in the final third, which to me is a slight concern, as we often see him moving the ball into the final third with his dribbling, but rarely is he ever able to find the pass beyond to create a goal scoring opportunity. This is why I don't think Pellistri will develop into a top level wide attacker, and why I see his future being deeper in central midfield. We see the value of having a player in central midfield who is a very good dribbler, as they can advance a play up the pitch, breaking the lines of the opposition system on their own, which is something that Paul Pogba, Kevin De Bruyne and Dani Ceballos are so good at for their sides. At the moment, Pellistri does resemble someone like Bukayo Saka when on the flank, but I do see his style of play changing over time. Pellistri does need to bulk up in order to adapt to the more physical style of play in Europe, especially playing in central midfield. But I can see him doing this and becoming a Dani Ceballos type player, playing the role of a box-to-box midfielder or a roaming playmaker who plays in midfield double pivot or ahead of a single pivot in a midfield 3, and is tasked with sitting deep and moving the ball into the final third with his dribbles and passes. DIALLO Traore is also a winger who, like Pellistri, has predominantly played on the right side. He has made only 3 appearances in Serie A for Atalanta, so it's hard to fully judge how good he is in senior football. However, I do think that Traore is a more developed player of the 2 new United youngsters. He has the dribbling ability of a traditional winger with excellent ball control, looking to shift it quickly to get it onto his left foot. I think he is a lot better output in the final third than Pellistri, with his decision making a lot better, more composed with the ball at his feet, and has a sharp shot from the edge of the box. I'd compare Traore to someone like Nicola Pepe in terms of his dribbling technique and how he looks to play short passes around the box on the right side, and has good shooting ability when cutting inside. So now that United have these 2 young players at their disposal, how should they go about developing them? So let's start with Pellistri. Well, I don't think he's ready yet for the Premier League, particularly playing in the central midfield position. He needs to improve his passing and chance creating ability in the final third, whilst also becoming more physical. I'd recommend that this season, whether that be before or in January, loaning him out to an Eredivisie club like Vitesse, where he'll get plenty of game time and will start to improve his physical and creative aspects of his game. Next season, when he's 19, I think a loan to La Liga would be the right option at a club that use a possession-oriented style, as this will enable Pellistri to play in central midfield and develop his tactical understanding of the game, and become an even better technical player on the pitch than he already is. For Traore, I think that when he joins in January, he should be loaned out straight to a Serie A club, as it will enable him to slot in pretty quickly midway through the season, as he will be familiar with the Italian style. He could come back at the start of next season, but ideally, United should be looking to loan him out to a Bundesliga club in my opinion, somewhere like Cologne or Hoffenheim, where he's going to get game time and be playing in a league with a similar style to the expansive Premier League, which will suit his pace and dribbling from the flanks, and I could see him develop into a similar type of player to Ousmane Dembele or Jadon Sancho. If you haven't already seen my analysis of Ousmane Dembele against Jadon Sancho, I'll leave that video linked in the description and in the eye above. So overall, do I think Amad Diallo, Traore and Facundo Pellistri are good signings for Manchester United? Well, first of all, I think it has to be addressed that these signings do not make United's horrendous transfer window any better, as they aren't going to be first team players till next season at the earliest in my opinion, bar United drastically needing options in the attacking midfield positions. Anyone who thinks that these are signings that United had weighed up and analysed for a thorough amount of time are wildly deluded. These are just panic deadline day buys for the United board to save face and act like they had these in the pipeline all along. It was even reported that Traore was even ready to be sent out on loan by Atalanta before United came in, which tells you just how planned these signings were. In terms of signing young talents, I don't think these players are top level. That's not to say that they can't develop, but it does seem odd that United went for these two, when I would say there are other options on the market with far more senior appearances and are a lot better in my opinion. Some examples are Mohamed Ihataren at PSV and Josip Brekalo at Wolfsburg. But overall, I think Traore is a real talent who needs to be developed properly, but ultimately I think he will become a first team player for United around the age of 21 or 22 years old. Pellistri I have my doubts with, and I can see him being shipped out on loan without really making a breakthrough, but for £8 million it seems like a decent investment with little financial risk. So United have brought in these two young talents, but I am slightly concerned about how United go about managing their careers, due to how they've made errors with other young talents before. An example that comes to mind is Angel Gomez. Gomez looked to be a promising player around the time when Solskjaer was first appointed manager. He should have been eased into the starting 11 towards the end of Solskjaer's first season, as United were dreadful anyways after they got knocked out of the Champions League. This also goes for players like James Garner, Tuanzebe and Tahith Chong, who haven't been given enough chances throughout Solskjaer's tenure, even though the performances of starting players in their positions have been dreadful throughout periods. Instead of sending these players out on loan, they've been sitting on the subs bench or playing under 23 football, which is going to stagnate their development. Tuanzebe is 22, soon to be 23, and should have been given more minutes last season or sent out on loan to a Premier League club. Tahith Chong has only now at the age of 20 been sent out on loan, while Angel Gomez has left the club altogether. People will point to McTominay and Brandon Williams as examples of players who have succeeded coming through the United system, but McTominay is 23, 24 in December and still doesn't look anything more than a decent backup player, whilst Brandon Williams hasn't improved since he came into the side and should be switched to the right back position. Mason Greenwood is the obvious example, but he's a generational talent and so should be considered the exception rather than the rule. The fact is that United are waiting too long to make decisions on young players, leaving it till they're in their 20s before giving them a defined role or sending them out on loan, whereas teams like Leipzig and Dortmund are starting to develop players from the ages of 17 or 18. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, remember to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you don't miss out on my upcoming videos. Tell me what you think of Pellistri and Traore in the comment section below, and check out some of my other videos which will be linked in the description and in the eye above.